It is Sunday. God is good. The sun came up, and I repeat, God is good. Mike Shula has been fired, and while we will never celebrate someone losing their job, we will definitely celebrate something positive happening to the program. And I don't want to say I'm celebrating too much, but I will tell you right now, the champagne has been popped. The season still sucks. Everything still sucks. But Mike Shula's gone. And I tell you what, I'm like conflicted on how to begin this because, as you can see in the background with the balloons, it's my fiance's 32nd birthday. I was granted permission to do a quick live reaction, so it's not going to be super long. We're not going to get into too much of the ins and outs of who they're going to bring in next, all that stuff. We have all week to do that because it's a bye week and all that kind of stuff. I'm conflicted on how to start the show because I respect the crap out of Mike Shula's career and his resume and all that kind of stuff. But this was a total failure. And it has, in my opinion, you ruined a season, and he's not the only one responsible for it. But a season was ruined with so much hope. Maybe they weren't the 13th best team in the country. I could easily see that. The offensive line had issues. The defense maybe wasn't as good up front at times, blah, blah, blah. Like, all those things can be true. But there was one specific and consistent massive issue on this team, and everyone knew it. We all have two eyes. I have four, and all of us saw it over and over and over again each week. The man didn't have 350 yards of offense in any game since the bowl game. Last night, this team had 235 yards of offense, and I don't think it was even the lowest on the season. It was so bad. And here's the worst part of it. If it was bad with Jake Bentley as quarterback, if it was bad with Ryan Helinski at quarterback, if it was bad with, anyone else at quarterback, fine. It was bad with one of the most physically talented players you have ever had step on this campus. You were gifted on a silver effing platter the job to be offensive coordinator for a preseason top 15 team with a potential top 10 overall pick. And I don't want to hear anything about the Norris crap. I get it. I'm not here to weigh in on his potential draft prospects. But those are all things that you had staring directly at you when you were handed the keys to this car and you crashed it. I don't even know if you made it out of the garage. I don't even know if you opened the garage door before you crashed this car that was given to you. It was so bad, so often, all year long. And it's over. It's over, and it's the right thing to do. And I will credit Shane Beamer over and over and over again for this. He may not love that he had to do it, but we have seen him now twice in one season make a much-needed change and fire someone, even though he doesn't love to do that and hasn't done it in the past. In season, it was the right thing to do. Bravo. That's what big-time football is in this state. The season's over. There's still nothing to play for. You have to win out to get to a bowl. No part of me thinks they're going to go to College Station and win that game. But you know what? You know what I do have now? You know what I do have now going into the final part of the season? Because I think they beat Coastal. I think they beat Clemson. I have this awful thing that I have not. It's not awful. I have this thing that I haven't had since week 2 of the season, and it's hope. And it's like this assumption that we're going to go out and see all these talented players on your team go out and do the things that they're talented enough to do, because we don't have someone running on 4th and 1, the most east-west bullcrap, like with a backup running back imaginable, to try and gain 1 yard. It's over. It's over. It's over. Thank God. Thank God. No, Jacob, it's real. It's very real. As reported by 247 Sports right now, South Carolina is moving on from Mike Shula. Mike Shula is done calling plays, according to Tony Morrell of the Big Spur. The news came less than 24 hours after the 30-14 loss to Ole Miss. Here's the thing. it's you cannot give him that much credit. It should have been done. I don't even disagree with that, but at least it effing happened, man. At least it happened. I could not imagine having to watch another week of that, and like early Christmas, and that's like there's still a very real part of me that's very frustrated. Like I'm still so frustrated because it's like I feel like you look back, you're going to look back at this season now, and now we are in this scenario. Oh my God! I think Hugh Freeze is also getting fired. What, the best day ever in this household? My Auburn grad fiance, and now this is incredible. I used to pray for times like this. Okay, so here's a great question, and here's the thing. Like I said at the start of this, these are all very valid questions. We'll dive into this all week. It's not going to be today. Just a full-on understanding what today's show is going to be. I just want to cycle back through this. Beyonce's birthday's today. Whole family's coming over. I was not planning on doing a show today. Found out a couple minutes ago, right before I was about to jump in the shower. I'm still wearing the same thing I wore last night. That Schula was fired, so I wanted to come on and do a quick show. We'll talk about all the potential people who are going to come in. It's done. Allie, are you in a towel? No. Get off the camera. Okay. That's my fiance in a robe back here. We just got all the highlights of this show. He Freeze is fired. All right, we have to get back to this. We got it all on this show. I did not expect this to happen. Who knows what happens when you go live, guys? My God. So here's the thing, though. You're going to look back at this season. I love you guys. I appreciate the comments here. That was big. No, here's the thing. I am so I'm trying to compose myself, guys. I'm happy this is done, but there's still a very real part of me that's still so pissed. I'm so pissed that we had to wait this long to see this happen. And I'm so pissed at having to see all of these things happen to a team that like I said this last night and I was having a hard time articulating it because I was so mad. But okay, Princely, it's not that deep, but yes. But yes, you're also right. It's her birthday that we had to let her slide. That's you're not wrong, but it's her birthday, we had to let her slide. Here's the thing. I feel like the way that this thing happened last night, I was so frustrated because it's like you're going into this game and you're annoyingly, that's the best way I know how to put it. You're frustratingly in the game. There's part of me that would almost feel like I'd rather get blown out, and they ended up pretty much getting blown out. But I would have rather have it not been close than doing what they do every game, which is like what they did against Mizzou. It's what they did against Bama, and it's like all those things, and not. You do all those things horribly offensive, like on offense, consistently moving back, consistently like shooting yourself in the foot, turnovers, false start penalties, pre-snap penalties, all that crap. You do it over and over and over again, and you're still somehow in the game. And it's like, how the blank are we in this game? How are you in this game? And then here we are. This is the best point that I will. I hear you. The SEC is wild this year. Bryles or Buster Faulkner are my first two calls. I don't. Kendall Bryles, I'm assuming is what you mean. Gus Malzahn should be on the list. Buster Faulkner, former Parkview High School alum. They got some good ones here. I'm on board with all that. I don't think that he is going to leave Tech for another OC job, but I would offer him $2 million and make him say no, because he's already one of the best signal callers in the game. The other thing too is you have to figure out what you want to do identity-wise on offense, because like now I'm just like pissed all over again, because it's like, dude, how many of these OCs that we're going to see come in? Gus Malzahn, the other stuff with what we think about with sorry, I'm hyped up. The other stuff with Buster Faulkner, like what this offense could have effing been with Lenora Sellers and company if they were already in place. And that part sucks. Like that part sucks. So it is very, very frustrating, but still, at least it's come to an end. I love the fact that you're doing this now. Figure out how this looks going forward. I don't think the door is closed on Sellers coming back. I really don't. Obviously Faison's gone. You got to recruit some other positions. It will be very interesting to see how good of a job they're able to do at retention for this year. Love Darren Usher. You guys know how I feel about Sean Elliott. Like, they did an incredible job last year with retention on the squad. Will they be able to do that again? I don't know, because I feel like, there's so many unknowns. There's a lot of players that haven't been on the field that much. But here's what I do know. At the very least, you're not going to do the same crap you've done for most of the year for the next however many weeks in a row. Like, at the very least, you are not going to coast in to the finish line with the same crap that we have seen over and over and over again. Hiring Schula was a lazy hire. I don't think that's a bad position to be in right there. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think I'm in a position to have. Mike Fury can call plays. I assume it'll be him or maybe Elliott that will be like talked to first. This is all an assumption, a very poor assumption at that. My guess would be, I don't think Fury's called plays before, but I could be wrong about that. The thing with Elliott is he's so involved in everything from a play-to-play standpoint, and he's so emotional, which I love, but he's so hyped up on the sidelines. I don't know if you harness that into him calling plays, but it feels good. Did it and won at Limestone. Okay, I love it. Beaver's recruiting staff have done good, in my opinion. If the season's a fluke and the O-line imploded, firing gives you more time to find a guy. I agree. I think you figure out, if it's Gus, I'm fine with that. Fury has called plays. Again, pardon my ignorance. All this is a little bit of a whirlwind. I'm on board with that. That seems like it would be the most rational decision. And I don't know how many other people on staff have been in that position where they've called plays. Fury is an excellent recruiter, right? And here's the other thing too. He's the one that's been responsible for bringing a lot of that talent at the one position I'm hoping is that they can figure out how to retain more than anything else. If you told me a bunch of the offensive linemen were going to leave, I don't feel like I'm losing sleep over that. There's some good ones on there, maybe, potentially, and I would love to see them in the offseason under Sean Elliott, sure. But if you told me they were going to be some guys there leaving, I could be okay with it. The receiver standpoint, though, no, I need that. Guy at Old Dominion, Kevin Decker, is super underrated. They have a nice Q there. Colton Joseph, that could portal over if Sellers leaves as well. Elliott has never called plays. Yeah, I think I just let Fury do it, and then I let Elliott do what he's been doing, which is be hype his crap on the sidelines and fire everybody up. And I will say, I thought the offensive line is not better necessarily. It's still objectively bad. They needed an entire overhaul in the offseason. But you know what I didn't see a ton of last night? And correct me if I'm wrong, because I was frustrated watching it. I didn't see a ton of, we got across the 50, now we're going to go back immediately, like we did against LSU. I didn't see that a lot. We don't necessarily need to hire a big name OC if they can find a guy that is young and innovative. And here's the thing too, guys. I agree and disagree with that, because I think that you do commit to this and you hire a big name OC, or just go hire the right guy. This whole thing from hiring from within has been really bad. And if we're being honest, I don't think I've taken a breath this episode, but if we're being honest, if you're telling me that, I disagree with Matthew Fuller, by the way. Sol was 12 carries for 52 yards last night. He should have been given the ball more. And if you're going to bring Fuller in, he doesn't need to be running jet sweeps on 4th and 1. That part was so stupid. Yeah, I don't think that's, 4 games too late. I don't think that's crazy. You know what sucks too is I look at that game against Alabama especially, and it's like, man, I thought they did the best they've done all season, and the numbers were still just crap. Just crapped. I think you hire the fit, evaluate the roster, bring an OC who maximizes skill set. I would be down with that. Here's the big thing too, guys. Everything that you're saying in the comments, everything, I'll click on a few of these. I think this is a great point. Give Buster Faulkner a blank check. Listen, his cousin is the one who hosts Locked On Vanderbilt, Corey Burton, and I'll try to reach out to him and get some updates from and see what he has to say, if that's possible. I think Tech he's in a good spot at Tech, but I think he also wants to take the next step. I don't know if the next step is a bigger name OC position or if it's being a head coach. And again, not everyone wants to be a head coach. Malzahn, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him if Norvell gets fired, especially, and if he does not get the job at Arkansas, which I don't expect him to, because I think they're going to have to Rhett Lashley, I would have both Buster Faulkner and Georgia Tech's O-line coach on the staff. And Brent Key is the guy who's primarily in charge of coaching up that offensive line, because that's what he played at Tech. So here's a point that I think we're going to talk a lot about in the upcoming weeks, and especially in this offseason. And I hope you guys stay around for it, because we had a record month last month. And I want to talk about all this stuff, but I hate that we're having to talk about hires instead of like they're competing for a playoff spot again. But anyway, if the next one doesn't work out, it's time to seriously question if Shane Beamer's our guy. I love Shane Beamer. I think he's the right person for this job. And I not only believe that he should be back next season, I think he's earned the right to fix this, as he said he was. I've said that over and over, and I will continue to say it, because you guys know I love to repeat myself. But here's the thing. I think you have to objectively look at this and say, is he allowed to make this hire? Is he allowed to make this hire? Like, solely him. If I'm Beamer, I am looking at this. Thank you, Shargaran. If I'm Beamer, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm saying to myself, there's a lot of things I'm really good at. Let me give you an example personally, okay? There's a lot of things I'm really good at. I'm creative. I can talk nonstop. You know what I'm really bad at? Pronouncing names and typos on social media. I misspell stuff all the time. Cincinnati, no clue. But also, like, I just get too excited with my ADD, and I'll type something out, and then it'll go out, and then it's like, you had one typo in this, and now the entire point is lost. I know that about myself, and I accepted it. I don't know if Beamer understands he does not have an eye, or has not proven to have an eye, to identify a good offensive coordinator yet. Dowell Loggins was bad for half the season last year. And then everything turned around. And he also had the benefit of having some incredibly talented players around him, like Lenoris Sellers. What Schula has done is criminal. Like, what he has done to Lenoris is criminal. And Lenoris has regressed. Like some of that falls on him. But the fact that, like, you now go into an offseason where, if Shane's in charge, which he is he's the head coach. If I'm him, I am bringing in as many people around me as possible to say, who do you think is a great hire? What do you think we should do? Some of my stuff that I'm really good at, like, the players love me. I'm good at recruiting. I'm great on the special team side of things. We have a great defense, and Clayton White was a fantastic hire, and being able to retain him. I'm so good at all those things. I check all those boxes. You know what I'm a little bit deficient in? Identifying a guy who can call plays well. That has been a big thing for him. Figure out somebody that can help. I think this is a great point. He knows how big the hire is. And I'll tell you what, guys, either way, he has to. He has to know how big the hire is. If he can't make his own hires, then he's the wrong coach for the team. The athletic department needs to call James Franklin, see if we're going to Columbia. But here's my point, though, about that. I'm not saying he's going to make the hire. He's going to have final say on who the OC is. And I'm fine with that. I'm saying, from a personal standpoint, I am looking at myself in the mirror and saying that I am not the best person to make this decision individually, and so, like, a solo decision. I need to rely on my network of people that I trust in this business and in my professional track record and history and resume and like surroundings. I need to lean and rely on those people that I know might have a different input, a different lens they're looking through on this hire, and also a better opinion on how they can evaluate stuff. Because I don't think that you go short-sighted and just try to strictly align it up with the talent on this current roster. Because in this day and age of football, guys, there's no telling what a team will look like from year to year, especially with the portal. It has to be something that is not like a you don't want to come in and start running pro style with Lenoris, where he's under center every single play and whatever else. That no. But you also do need to find a fine line of, like, hey, this is what I want to do, like, as an identity in general. Here's who I have at my quarterback. Hey, like, you know who's going to benefit more than anyone out of this? It's the quarterbacks that he has on staff or on the roster. Like, Aaron Nolan's a former 5-star. Cutter Woods, I think, is going to be great. You could be bringing in Landon Duckworth, who's a top 50 player overall. Like, there's enticing pieces on this current roster that, yeah, I agree with this too. there's enticing pieces on this current roster that if you go get a good OC, they're going to want to come here, especially with what you have at receiver, especially like, so maybe the investment is you go pay an offensive coordinator that is around the same what you're paying Clayton White, because you cannot overpay for someone and slap Clayton White in the face like that, which I don't think he will. But you have to go find an OC. Do not promote from within. You go make a splashy hire because your job is on the line. And then you figure out a way to retain what's on this roster and who's going to fit well. And I'm telling you guys, there are pieces on this roster. I don't know about on the offensive line. I don't know about at running back because of how old all those players are. I think they're having their 32nd birthday as well. But like, there's enough pieces on this roster from the receiver standpoint and a quarterback where you can go to an OC and say, I have all these toys. Do you want to play with them? Like, so there you go. Mike McDaniel with the Dolphins let him go. I don't know about that. If Stella goes in the transfer portal, we're also screwed. I don't think he would do that. I don't think Sellers would do that. And again, these are all things we can talk about during the show. Hire the North Texas OC or the South Florida OC. Billy Napier is also available. I'm not on board with Billy Napier because of some of the play calling, like some of his in-game decisions that I saw this season. I don't think I would be on board with that. Maybe you interview him. I don't know, but I don't think that's a good move. North Texas offense has been insane. I would like that hire. I mean, like, maybe you think outside the box on it, like you said. Do we think Peyton Manning? I don't think that would happen. Sellers is more likely. So here's a question that we're going to talk about a bunch, but I just know that we're going to have to keep talking about it. It's not a bad question. But Ross the Boss asks, is Sellers still a first-round pick after this season? Here's my only response to that. Anthony Richardson was drafted like 4th overall. Someone will take Lenore Sellers. Like, he has all the tools. Last night was a terrible game. Okay, this person says, I'd lean towards Andy Kotelnicki. So here's what I'll say about this, and I'll just give you a very personal response to this that I don't think will surprise anybody. I don't want that person hired because I don't know if I can consistently pronounce his name. Selfishly, that's not going to be my first choice. I can't imagine the sputtering I'll do trying to say that guy's name after the track record I've had and you guys have had to watch on air. I don't think Gus Malzahn is a bad candidate. This right here, and I'm not even going to address it. I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't want to speak it into existence. This is a very good point. And I have no intel on it as of right now. I have no intel on it. I would be shocked, beyond shocked, if he wasn't being contacted a decent amount. Regardless, let's see here. I think this is a good point. I think this is a pretty good point. Yeah, this is a thing. Yeah. Scouts have been saying the like has been so bad they've been giving themselves a pass. That's also not true. Like not untrue. Here's the thing that's frustrating too is like I keep saying this. His entire highlight tape and his like pre-draft highlight reel that we'll see if he goes pro in April, they will show when he's drafted. This is what he can do. This is what he's capable of. Blah blah blah. They'll show like the highlights from that on ESPN or whatever. Most of that is going to be stuff like you saw against Missouri, where it's 3rd and 39, and he completes a 7-yard pass across his body, like on the sideline. Like, and then you're gonna look at that and be like, did they win that game? No, they lost by 9. And it's just so frustrating. Just so frustrating. This might be a point. Now you can't make the hire solely based on that. But I will also say, and push back on my own comment that I just made 3 seconds ago, if Shane knows that this is a make or break year, which it very well could be, probably should be, regardless of what happened last year, if next year's a make or break year, then I think you are looking at this like you have to do everything in your power to hope that he comes back. You never want to have a kid make a bad decision for his future, and I don't think Shane Beamer would do that. But if you can figure out a way, like I don't think Norris is watching himself play and thinks that he's necessarily ready for the NFL. Like he would have to go sit and learn still somewhere and develop and all that kind of stuff. Physically, he is as talented as anyone in the country. Arm strength, what he can do like with his legs, like that's not in question. So maybe that's a conversation you have and see what happens there. Call up Jerry Neuheisel. I don't know. Whoever the hires, make sure it's a college system that fits player. Yes. That I don't listen. What a throwback call and a throwback name. What about Kevin Sumlin? Down. I'm in for that. Thank you, William Jones. Hit the like button. Make sure you guys, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. Okay, hold on. Who is? I'm just going to be honest with you guys because everyone keeps talking about G.A. Mangus, George Alfred Mangus, and I have been so in the dark about remembering who this is, and now it all just came back to me that he was the OC from like the early 2010s. Yeah, I don't think he crossed off the list. I think that what you need to do is figure out who can come in and play I think you throw out whatever was happening this year. I think you literally, I said it yesterday in the show, burn it all down. Like you have to throw it out. And there's some concepts you can use, but I mean, guys, we're not using the tight ends, which has never been a thing in this offense. You're not using the tight ends enough. I mean, like you don't use motion enough. And you don't like watching Norris try and run the option last night and having that, like, if there's one thing that guy should be able to do better than anyone else in the country outside of maybe a military academy, it's probably run the option. Like what Haynes King has done at Georgia Tech is kind of what I thought Norris would be like not similar to because of how much he runs between the tackles and how like gritty those yards are. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. But again, maybe you have a conversation with Mangus. I don't know. Maybe not. Look up Brennan Marion. The go-go offense works pretty well. We have the talent to get after it. Now, I will tell you this. This is going to be interesting, okay? GA is coaching right up the road to Brooklyn Casey, and he'd come back, and the fans would love it. Here's the other side of that, and hear me out. If you hire a guy that's coaching at high school right now, not even a head coach, the OC, Hammond, he was at Hammond, now he's at Brooklyn Casey, he was at Heathwood Hall. Like, what is going on? Touchdown in PA? What the hell happened? I gotta do a deep dive on this guy. But Brooklyn Casey, if you hire a guy that was coaching you 10 years ago and you had success with him, Brent Key is not going to be your offensive coordinator. If there's one thing I'm confident on, it's that. So if you bring him in, it feels very much almost like the same move that Auburn made with Hugh Freeze. Like, hey, here's a guy that won some games 10 years ago. Like, I want you to think about it like this. Think about it like this. And maybe it's too hard to do, and maybe it's an unfair comparison. If Shane Beamer announced he was hiring a high school offensive coordinator to come coach South Carolina after the debacle we just saw, how do you think you would handle that, not knowing if the name wasn't G.A. Mangus? I feel like the answer to that is probably we would hate it. So I want a young guy with fresh ideas. I'm tired of recycling the same old names. Yes. Okay, guys, we got a lot to talk about. In the meantime, I got to go shower because the family's coming over. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. The channel keeps growing, which has been crazy. It's all credit to you guys. We will do a show tomorrow. We'll have a lot to talk about on the bye week. I tell you what, living over here outside of Columbia in another state and only getting to come back home for select games, I thought that last week in Baton Rouge, it would be a quiet week because the bye week was definitely wrong. I thought this week would be a quiet week for South Carolina in the bye week. I'm glad it's not. It's a step in the right direction. There you go. Thank you, by the way, for the happy birthday wishes for the fiance. Y'all are great. And y'all be safe. Y'all be good to each other. We'll see you tomorrow. Go Cox.